The zeros of a polynomial are very useful when actually graphing the polynomial. We know that the zeros are the x-intercepts. So there's a couple things we need to know about. The first is something called the multiplicity of a zero. And a multiplicity of a zero is just the exponent on the factor x minus c, where x equals c is the zero of the polynomial. Okay? So in your factored form of a polynomial, for example, maybe it has something like this: x minus 2 cubed times x plus 1 squared. All right, and if this is your polynomial, we have two zeros. We have x equals 2, and we have x equals negative 1. Okay, the zeros of each of these factors. But along with those, we have what's called the multiplicity. So the x equals 2, 0, has a multiplicity of 3 because that's the exponent on that factor. Okay, and x equals negative 1 has a multiplicity of 2 because that's the exponent. Okay. Now the reason we like or care about the multiplicity is because it tells us the shape of the graph near that 0. Okay. So if x equals c is a 0 of the polynomial with multiplicity m, then the behavior of the graph of the polynomial near that 0 is the same as the behavior of the graph of y equals x to the m near x equals 0. So I want to show you what this means. So if we look at the function x plus 2 times x minus 1 squared, we can kind of see this behavior. This x plus 2, that's x equals negative 2 is a 0. And the multiplicity there is 1 because that's the exponent. And x to the 1 is just a line. Okay, x to the 1 just looks like that. Okay, and so we're saying that our function just kind of crosses the axis the way that a line would. Okay, and the line crosses the axis by just cutting right through it. And so that's why this curve just cuts right through. But at this 0 here, we've got x equals 1 is a 0, and the multiplicity there is 2. Okay, and x to the 2, x squared, that's a parabola. Okay, that's a pretty sloppy parabola, but the way that it touches the axis, okay, is it just comes and kind of bounces off. And that's what this function does at x equals 1, okay, with the multiplicity of 2. It kind of looks like a parabola right there. And so the multiplicity of a 0 tells us what function our graph looks like around that 0.